Part flattened after a car loaded with explosives passed through a military checkpoint and detonated inside the compound. Officials say several gunmen then stormed the base, opening fire at soldiers before being gunned down themselves.
It was around 6 o'clock. There was a very big explosion. I thought there had been an earthquake. It was very strong.
It's the latest in what has become near-daily assaults by the Taliban, who've been stepping up their attacks on government facilities in recent months, undeterred by the harsh winter. This time, the Taliban were able to breach the compound's security barriers by using a vehicle they had captured from the Afghan military. Some of the injured were taken to local hospitals for treatment. More serious cases were sent some 50 kilometres away to the capital, Kabul. The government is facing accusations that it's hiding the true death toll, so as to avoid further worsening morale among Afghanistan's already shattered security forces.
Okay, let's go straight to Kabul now. We're joined by journalist Ali Latifa from there. Ali, can you give us the latest on this attack? There are conflicting reports right now on the numbers killed, and we're getting little from the government.
Sure. So the conflicting reports continue. We don't have an official updated number from the government that goes beyond 40-something. So, and basically, like last night, I had been hearing several different figures within a few hours. So initially, I had heard 30, then 50, then 80, then 120, 126. So this has become a major issue. Now, one thing we have to remember is that this is fairly common with attacks, where people on the scene, on the ground, will say that the actual number of killed and injured was much higher than what is being reported. Usually, though, that has to do with a civilian death toll, and the fact that this was an attack on the intelligence agency. Again, this raises more questions about why the real numbers aren't coming out. What are the exact numbers? And we also have to remember that a lot of those that were killed obviously in the initial blast. And then also when the building collapsed in on itself, people were trapped. People were essentially they were killed while being trapped, with fallen rubble and things like that.
Okay, Ali, what about the timing of this attack? Taliban representatives were meeting with foreign diplomats in Qatar, part of a U.S.-initiated push for peace talks. Will this attack end the attempts to get a peace process going?
I highly doubt that it'll end the attempts to get a peace process going, because the one thing is this peace process is still led by the United States, and the United States has made it very clear that they want out of this war at any cost at this point. The other thing we have to remember is that this is not, unfortunately, uncommon in this war. We have seen, the government for years has been talking about trying to get peace and talk peace with the Taliban, and they continue their attacks on the Taliban targets. And at the same time, in 2013, when the Taliban briefly opened their office in Doha, they made a very clear statement. They said, we will consider peace talks. At that time, it didn't go anywhere, but they said we will consider peace talks and we will keep fighting. So this is essentially what we're seeing is a continuation of that war, where both sides say that they want peace, even though it's become much more official at this point from the Taliban side, and yet they both continue to attack each other.
Okay, and morale with the Afghan security forces has been shaky at best recently. How's this likely to affect that?
I mean, I think the morale has been an issue for years. I've done reports on this several times, and the morale comes down to many things. It comes down to feeling abandoned when you come under attack. For instance, when cities or provinces or districts are about to fall, there have been several instances where security forces say they didn't get the backup and the help that they needed. It's as simple as, not getting proper food, not getting paid on time, not getting to leave on time. If you are martyred in the fight, not necessarily having your body delivered to your family properly. These sorts of morale issues have been going on for a long time. And it comes from all sides. It comes from this fact that, okay, you could be killed in this war very clearly, and it comes from the fact that, while you're fighting this war, you don't feel like you're being taken care of.
Ali Latifi for us from Kabul. Thanks so very much for the insights.